1 Corinthians chapter 7. Now, concerning the things of which you wrote to me, it is good for a man not to touch a woman. Nevertheless, because of sexual immorality, let each man have his own wife, and let each woman have her own husband. All right. So right here, we're assuming that husband with wife, wife with husband. All right. There's no two genders the same. All right. So just clarifying that. And that is what the Bible says is righteous, and that is what is righteous. All right. Here we go. 3. Let the husband render to his wife the affection due her, and likewise also the wife to her husband. So affection to the wife, affection to the husband. The wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. And likewise, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. So vice versa. All right. So when you're married, you're actually serving one another. That's pretty much what it's saying here. You're serving one another. Like, hey, my body is the authority of my wife, and my wife's body is my authority. We serve one another. Like, we have to help each other out. That's pretty much what it's saying here. 5. Do not deprive one another except with consent for a time, that you may give yourself to fasting and prayer, and to come together again, so that Satan does not tempt you because of your lack of self-control. So when it comes to intercourse, do not, it says here, do not deprive one another, right? You are not to deprive one another. It's like, hey, I'm not today, not for a whole week, not for a whole month. Like, do not deprive one another. Why does it say to not deprive one another? All right. Because guess what? Temptation is going to come in. You're letting temptation come in the door. All right. It's like, well, my wife, well, now temptation's kicking in, and and that's not good. All right. One thing leads to another. Not good. All right. So it says here, do not deprive one another except. So there is an except with consent for a time, that you may give yourself to fasting and prayer. So if you're going to fast or pray, if you're going to be in fasting and prayer, hey, I'm just letting you know ahead of time that, I don't want to have intercourse because I'm taking this time to pray and fast. All right. But there has to be an understanding. All right. It's not just, hey, I go cold and that's it. All right. All right. 6. But I say this as concession, not as a commandment. Concession, not as a commandment. For I wish that all men were even as I myself, but each one has his own gift from God, one in this manner and another in that. But I say to the unmarried and to the widows, it is good for them if they remain even as I am. So Paul is not married. He's saying, hey, I suggest you stay the way I am. But I say to the unmarried and to the widows, it is good for them if they remain even as I am. It's good for them to stay as he is. But if they cannot exercise self-control, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn with passion. That's huge. All right. So it's saying here, if you cannot stay single, if you cannot, like, hey, I can't stay unmarried and not have intercourse, it's better. If you cannot exercise self-control, let them marry, for it is better to marry than to burn with passion. All right. Meaning you don't want to be burning with, man, you know what? If you're burning with passion, it's probably best you get married. All right. That's pretty much what it's saying here. It's best to get married. Now, I know I was in a situation where, hey, I married my wife. I'm like, hey, we're going to get married because I don't think I could do this. So we got married, and all right. And I strongly recommend any Christians to get married. If if you're dating and you're having intercourse, or you're thinking about it and you're like, hey, just get married. Simple as that. Get married. If you're single and you don't burn with passion, and you're like, you're okay going without intercourse, like, hey, that's fine. If you're a Christian and like you can do it, that's fine, because that is a gift, right? Paul's saying here, hey, you can stay like I am. All right. It's a gift. Like, he's not burning with passion. Hey, that's fine. Now, can we all say that, we're not gonna burn with passion? No, not everybody. It's just, hey, it's on you, really. Like, are you gonna be burning with passion, or can you control yourself? So it says here, if you can't control yourself, just marry. All right. So that's what it's saying here. All right. You're avoiding the temptations. You're avoiding just burning in general. All right.